My beloved child, what you are living today does not end within your own life, but is quietly weaving a sacred legacy for the generations that will come after you. Every time you choose to turn your eyes toward me instead of sinking into fear, every time you keep your heart faithful in the place of trial, every time you do a good thing in secret without needing anyone's praise, you are sowing seeds that cannot be seen by ordinary eyes. Yet they will grow in the time I have appointed. There are things you do today that may seem small, only a silent prayer, a difficult forgiveness, an upright decision when no one is watching. But in heaven, I see it all. No seed sown in love is ever forgotten. No faithful act falls to the ground and becomes meaningless. What you choose in the present will become a sign for others, a light for your descendants, and a pathway for those who may never know your name but will be touched by the fruit your life leaves behind. Remember that I have always taught my people through memorials, so they would not forget the grace that carried them through deep waters. When one generation passes through trial and sets up stones of remembrance, the next generation looks upon them and understands that they did not come from nothing, that they do not live by chance, but that they are covered by my faithful hand. In the same way, your life is becoming living stones of remembrance. Every time you overcome a dark season by faith, you place down a stone. Every time you rise after stumbling and return to me, you place down a stone. Every time you choose love instead of bitterness, peace instead of revenge, light instead of the things that cloud your heart, you are building a quiet testimony. One day, others will look at you and wonder why you can still remain tender after harsh things, why you can still hope after moments that seem to take everything away, why your eyes still carry gentleness, though you have passed through much pain. Then your very life will answer that I have been with you. You need to understand that your eyes do not only see for today, they also open a path for tomorrow. What you gaze upon will shape what you believe. What you believe will guide your steps, and your steps will leave footprints for others to follow. If you keep looking at fear, you will sow an atmosphere of anxiety. If you look only at fleeting fame, you will sow weariness and rivalry. If you allow your eyes to be drawn into dark and clouded things, you will pass on confusion without even realizing it. But if you look to me, if you allow my light to make your vision clear again, you will sow peace, steadfastness, and wisdom. You may not see the fruit immediately, but I am the one who causes seeds to sprout in hidden places. In due season, what you have sown with tears, perseverance, and trust will bloom in a way more beautiful than you imagined. Do not think that legacy belongs only to the perfect. I am not seeking a life that has never stumbled. I seek a heart that knows how to return. There are people remembered not because they never failed, but because after they fell, they still knew how to bow before truth. Allow me to correct their path and continue loving what is good. So it is with you. You do not need to carry the burden of becoming perfect before your life has value. It is your honesty, your repentance, your endurance, and your humility that create a deep imprint. Others may not remember everything you said, but they will remember where you looked when the storm rose. They will remember that your eyes did not give up. They will remember how you chose me in moments when it would have been easier to choose another way. And through that trace, they may find me. The holy messengers are seeing the vast tapestry being woven from your most ordinary days. You may only see small threads, a morning when you tried to pray, though your heart was weary, an evening when you chose silence instead of speaking words that would wound, a time when you helped someone without keeping count, a tear that fell in faithfulness. But from the heights above, I see a picture taking shape. No thread is wasted. Even the parts you thought were tangled, I can still use to create depth. Even the seasons you thought were filled only with loss, I can turn into the fabric for a new beauty. Your legacy is not built by loud applause, but by quiet choices placed within grace. My beloved child, I know there are times when you wonder whether what you do truly matters. Sometimes you feel as though you are only trying to make it through each day, with nothing great, no achievement that captures the world's attention. But I say to you that what is done in love is never small in my sight. A prayer you silently offer can open the way for another person to be strengthened. A forgiveness you choose today can stop a stream of bitterness from passing into the next generation. A pure decision you make can become a doorway through which your descendants walk into greater freedom. Do not measure the value of your life by the noise outside. Measure it by the faithfulness you offer to me. The things of the world may fade. Reputation may vanish. Possessions may change hands. But love, faith, and faithfulness placed in me will echo for a long time. Therefore, in the next 7 days, as you learn to keep your eyes in the light, you are not only protecting yourself, you are sowing a path for others. Every time you turn your eyes away from what darkens you and choose to look toward goodness, you are lighting a lamp. Every time you stand firm before temptation, you are leaving a bright footprint. Every time you respond to hurt with wise gentleness, you are writing another beautiful page in the legacy I have entrusted to you. A lamp is not lit only to admire itself. It is placed where those who come after will not stumble in the darkness. You are that lamp when you allow me to nourish the light within you. Do not underestimate a faithful gaze, because eyes that know how to look toward me can change the atmosphere of an entire family, soften a generation, and open a path that many will follow in peace. But now, I want to lead you deeper into a necessary truth. You cannot fully step into a new season while still holding tightly to old burdens. There are layers of dust from the past that have clung to your vision longer than you realize. There are old words still echoing in your memory, failures that still make you hesitate, pains that have made your gaze less clear than before. I see the things you try to hide. I see unnamed fears, untouched wounds, responsibilities you carry without daring to admit that you are exhausted. I do not come to reproach you for being heavy-hearted. I come to invite you to lay the burden down. You were not created to live forever with your head bowed beneath what has passed. You are invited to walk lighter, breathe more deeply, see more clearly, and love more freely. Do not let the past continue to blur your present. There are things that happened, but they do not have the right to define your entire journey. There are wounds that once caused you to close yourself off, but they are not the house where you must live forever. There are mistakes that once made you ashamed, but I can turn your return into a testimony of grace. You do not need to pretend that you were never hurt. You only need to give that pain to me so it no longer rules your vision. When I heal, I do not merely make you forget. I renew the way you see. I turn the wound into a place where light passes through. I transform what once made you tremble into a quiet testimony that my love is stronger than every chain. In these 7 days, you will stand before a gentle yet important choice: to continue carrying the things that have exhausted you, or to open your hands and let me lift them from you. I will not force you, for love does not compel, but I am near, calling you with kindness, reminding you that letting go is not defeat. Letting go is giving me the authority to heal. Letting go is admitting that you do not need to be your own savior. Letting go is allowing your eyes to stop staring endlessly at old wounds and begin recognizing a new door. When you dare to say to me that you can no longer carry it alone, that is the very moment grace begins to lift you. You will find your heart lighter, your vision clearer, and your steps stronger. Not because circumstances immediately change, but because within you, You are no longer being dragged down by old cords. Remember, I do not take away burdens only to leave you empty. When you lay down pain, I give you peace. When you release fear, I sow courage into you. When you let go of memories that have darkened your eyes, I open before you new signs of hope. I do not take from you anything that belongs to death without giving back to you the breath of life. I do not break chains without opening a path of freedom. I do not call you out of darkness without leading you into light. Therefore, trust that the new season waiting for you does not come as pressure, but as an invitation. Step into it with eyes cleansed, with a heart strengthened, with the past placed in my hands. And when you choose to look toward me, choose to sow what is good, choose to release what is old, you will become a living testimony that no burden is greater than my love, no long night can overcome my light, and no legacy is more beautiful than a faithful life that allows me to lead the way. My beloved child, the new beginning I give you cannot be preserved merely by your fragile will or your quickly fading determination. What I am building within you must be nourished by a living, continuous, and holy stream. That stream is prayer. Do not think of prayer only as a few hurried words before night falls, or merely as a cry that bursts forth when you are pressed to the end of your strength. Prayer is the sacred breath of your inner life, the rhythm of communion that keeps you near me, the hidden path where the temporary touches eternity. If the body needs air to live, then the deepest part within you needs fellowship with me to become strong, clear, and enduring. Without prayer, your heart will slowly dry up even while you continue walking outwardly. But when you know how to return to me with every breath, everything within you will be watered by a source of life that never runs dry. My child, continuous prayer is not always long. Solemn words arranged perfectly. Sometimes it is only a very small whisper in the middle of a busy day. Father, please be with me. Sometimes it is a sigh you do not know how to turn into words. Yet I still understand the full meaning hidden behind it. Sometimes it is one quiet minute when you stop running after the voices outside so you can hear my voice within. These seemingly small moments are what keep you from drifting away. They draw you back to the center, reminding you that you are not alone, that you do not need to carry everything by yourself, and that every step you take can be placed beneath my light. The more you pray, the more you learn the rhythm of my presence, the closer you are to me. The more easily you recognize my gentle guidance in decisions that seem ordinary. What I want you to understand more deeply is that prayer does not only change the circumstances around you. First, it changes your own heart. When you come to me, your burdens no longer remain on your shoulders like heavy stones. When you speak to me about your fear, my light begins to shine upon the vague things that make you tremble. When you open your heart before me, layers of anger, hurt, and anxiety are gradually untangled like knots of thread in the hands of a gentle father. The outward problem may not be solved immediately. The door you long for may not yet open. The answer you wait for may still remain in silence, but you will recognize a quiet miracle. You are no longer ruled by panic as before. A tender peace will cover you, not loud, but steady, like a warm garment I place upon you in the cold wind of life. From that place of prayer, I do not restore you only so that your own heart may feel lighter. I renew you so that you may become light for those who are weary. The height of healing is not when every trace of sorrow disappears from memory, but when those sorrows no longer rule you, and the very places once cracked become places where my light shines through. What I have done within you is not only a personal grace, but also a gentle sending. There are many people in the world wandering in darkness, many dry hearts, many eyes that no longer know how to hope. When you live in renewal, You become a small but true lamp, needing no display, needing no pride, only burning with what I have placed within you. Therefore, the love I pour into you does not stop at healing your private wounds. That love desires to overflow, to touch the lonely, the disappointed, the abandoned, and those who believe they are no longer worthy of being loved. When you forgive what is difficult to forgive, when you choose tenderness instead of bitterness, when you respond to coldness with kindness that has healthy boundaries, you are reflecting me in the world. This love is not weak, because it does not allow darkness to control it, nor is it blind, because it knows how to stand in truth. It is love strong enough to break chains of resentment, pure enough not to be stained by revenge, and enduring enough to keep sowing goodness even before the harvest appears. Do not think you must do great things in order to shine. Some miracles begin with a word of encouragement at the right time, a compassionate gaze, non-judgmental listening, or a very quiet act of kindness. Someone may be standing close to the edge of despair and yet be held back by a hopeful word from you. Someone may be closed off because of pain and yet begin to open again when they encounter the gentleness I have placed in you. When you are faithful in small things, light will naturally spread. A candle does not need to argue with darkness, it only needs to burn, and the darkness must retreat. In the same way, your life in me will become a living testimony, not only through what you say, but through the way you love. Forgive, endure, and keep peace in days that are not easy. But my beloved child, to live this way, you must learn to trust me in this new beginning. The world teaches you to control, to hold tightly, to predict, to prepare every scenario so you will not be surprised. But I teach you to release in faith, not in resignation, but in placing all things into my hands. You cannot fully sense my strength while your hands are still gripping every worry. The new journey does not begin with tense calculation, but with peaceful surrender. You do not need to know the whole road before you dare to take a step. You only need to know that I am the one walking with you. As you take small steps in obedience, I will open the part of the way that needs to open. When you pause to listen, I will show you what must be done. When you are weary, I will lift you with my gentle grace. I know there are times when you ask yourself whether you have enough strength to continue. Sometimes you feel fragile, unready, unworthy, not wise enough, not strong enough. But my child, I do not call you because you are already perfect. I call you because I love you and because I know what I can do through a heart that trusts. Your tenderness does not disappoint me. Your limits do not cause my plan to stop. It is precisely where you realize that you need me, that my power is revealed most clearly. What I seek in you is not an appearance that never trembles, but a willingness to hold my hand even when you do not yet see all of tomorrow. Be careful with doubt, because it can become an invisible cord pulling you back from what I am preparing. Doubt often does not come like a great storm, but like a small whisper. Are you sure? Is he truly with you? Is the promise still for you? If you feed that whisper, it will slow your steps, scatter your heart, and turn your eyes from me to the waves. But remember, my word does not change with the weather of circumstances. What I have sown in you will be tended by my hand. The waiting time is not proof that I have forgotten you. Often, it is where I cause your roots to grow deeper, so that when the harvest comes, you will be steady enough to receive it. Trusting me does not mean closing your eyes to reality, but opening your eyes to recognize that I am present even in the things you do not yet understand. A closed door may be protection. A delay may be preparation. The ending of a relationship may be deliverance. A quiet season may be where I teach you to listen more deeply. When you see by faith, You will no longer tremble before every uncertainty, because you will know that no detail lies outside my care. Even if you are walking over restless waters, even if the wind blows fiercely, keep your eyes fixed on me. When you look at me, you will walk where you once thought you would sink. When you place your heart in my hands, this new beginning will not only begin, but will be preserved, nourished, and made fruitful in the season I have appointed. My beloved child, I want you to understand that the healing I give is not meant to take you back to where you once stood, as though painful things had never touched you. I do not heal you by erasing every trace of the journey, nor by covering the past with a veil so you can pretend you never cried, never broke, never trembled through long nights. True healing from me always opens a new path, where what once hurt you no longer has the right to define you, where old wounds are transformed into signs of grace, where the tears that fell are not wasted, but become seeds for a season of joy. Do not think that being healed means returning to exactly who you were before the wound. No, my child, I do not lead you backward. I always lead you forward, into a new depth, a new strength, and a peace more mature than anything you knew before. Look back at the road you have traveled, not to blame yourself, nor to stir up pain again, but to recognize my hand quietly sustaining you through every stretch of the journey. There were sorrows that once seemed like great waters trying to sweep you away, trials that made you think you no longer had enough strength to stand, dark seasons that caused you to doubt your own worth and wonder whether your life could ever bloom again. But my child, even when you could not feel it, I was there. When you were weakest, I did not leave. When you seemed forgotten, I was still working in the hidden place. When you could only remain silent, I still heard your sighs. And today, if you have the courage to look back, you will see that you did not merely survive those days. You were formed to be deeper, softer yet stronger, gentler yet no longer as easily crushed as before. The marks you carry are not proof that you failed. People may look at those marks and think of weakness, brokenness, or loss, but I look and see another story. I see that you passed through what seemed impossible to pass through. I see that you cried yet still did not release your hold on hope. I see that you were wounded but did not allow bitterness to become your dwelling place. Those marks, when placed in my light, are no longer the voice of pain, but the testimony of overcoming. They say that you have been kept. They say that I touched the place that seemed beyond restoration. They say that what once tried to make you collapse could not triumph over my love for you. Therefore, do not rush to hide those marks as though they make you less valuable. You do not need to wear perfection in order to be loved, nor pretend to be strong in order to be seen by me. It is through the places that once cracked within you that my light can shine most tenderly. The very thing you once thought must be hidden, I can turn into comfort for someone else. Someone will see your journey and realize that their own pain is not the end of them. Someone will hear how you rose again and recover hope. Someone may be in despair, but when they see you restored, they will believe that I still make ways, still heal, still renew what seemed dried up. Understand that the height of healing is not only that you have peace within yourself, but that this peace becomes a stream flowing to those who are thirsty. I do not heal you so that you may close the door and keep all goodness for yourself. I heal you so that you may become one who sows hope in a weary generation, a hand that lifts the fallen, a gentle voice for those wounded by harsh words. When you have been comforted by me, you will know how to comfort others without judging them. When you have been lifted by me, you will know how to bend down with mercy instead of pride. When you have passed through the dark night, you will know how to cherish even a small ray of light in someone else's life. I know there are times when you worry and ask whether you are strong enough to step into a new beginning. You wonder whether what happened has slowed you down, whether you still have enough courage to love, serve, trust, and receive greater responsibility. But my child, I do not merely close the wound. I also place new strength within you. I do not only wipe away tears, I open your eyes to see things you have never seen before. I do not only bring you out of pain, I equip you with wisdom, courage, and endurance to step into new territory. What you once called a limitation, I can turn into a platform. What you once thought was loss, I can use as good soil for something new to grow. When I send you, I do not let you go alone. When I entrust something to you, I also give you strength to complete it. Therefore, do not see healing as an ending, but receive it as a new dawn. You are not healed only to escape yesterday, but to live fully in the tomorrow I am opening. You are not healed only so that you no longer hurt, but so that you may love more deeply, discern more clearly, walk more steadily, and bring peace into places that are still disturbed. You are not healed only to stand firm for yourself, but so that you may lift those trembling along the roadside. When you live in this purpose, you will realize that everything I do within you has a meaning greater than the pain you once endured. I am not only restoring you, I am making you a living witness of my kindness. And on this new journey, my beloved child, I want you to engrave this upon your heart. Prayer is not only the words you speak when hardship comes, nor is it a ritual you complete so that your heart may feel at ease. Prayer is the breath of your inner life, the stream that keeps your heart from becoming dry, the soft yet enduring cord that connects you with my presence. Do not wait until the storm rises before you come to me. Let conversation with me become the daily rhythm of your life. When you wake, turn your heart toward me. When you work, let gentle whispers rise. When you walk among crowds, remember that I am still nearer than the noise around you. When you are weary, even one sincere call is enough for you to realize that I have never been far away. Continuous prayer does not mean you must leave every responsibility behind to remain only in long hours of devotion. It is the awareness of me in every moment, the habit of turning your heart toward me in the midst of very ordinary tasks. When you are on the road, you can give me your worries. When you are preparing to make a decision, you can ask me in stillness. When your heart feels unsettled, you can pause and let my peace descend. I do not demand ornate words from you, nor do I wait for you to become perfect before I listen. I hear the sincere heart, a whisper in the night, a tear no one sees, a small cry in the middle of a long day. All have value before me. Through prayer, the inner ear of your heart will learn to recognize my voice among countless other voices. The world will always be noisy, always urging, always sowing into you anxiety, comparison, fear, and haste. But when you make room for me in stillness, you will recognize that my voice is not like that noise. My voice does not burden you with confusion, but leads you into clarity. My voice does not push you forward through fear, but lifts you to walk in peace. I will remind you when you need to stop, encourage you when you are discouraged, warn you when a path is not for you, and comfort you when you feel too tired to continue. But in order to hear, you must keep the rhythm of nearness with me, not only speaking to me, but also listening to me. Prayer also opens within you new visions. When your heart is near me, you are no longer imprisoned by the circumstances before your eyes. I will show you that your story is larger than one difficult season, wider than one closed door, deeper than one disappointment. I will place within you images of hope, new directions, and assurances strong enough for you to stand firm, even when you do not yet know the entire road. You do not need to know every detail, because if you knew everything, you would no longer learn trust. What you need is to know that I am guiding you, and that one step at a time is enough for today. So then, my beloved child, keep prayer as your breath. Keep nearness to me as your source of life. And keep your heart open before my presence each day. Let me wash away heaviness. Replace confusion with peace, bitterness with forgiveness, and weariness with new joy. When you live in prayer, you will no longer be swept away by the pressure of the world, but sustained by a quiet and enduring strength. And from that place, you will step into life not as one who has only barely survived a wound, but as one whom I have renewed, one whom I have sent, one in whose heart I have placed light to carry peace, hope, and life wherever your feet may go.